Okay. You didn't have
Summoning
to.
in Jujutsu Kaisen is an ability so simple that it can be used without even rolling for a technique. But what happens when you take your average sorcerer build and introduce a legendary...
I'm so fucking pissed off we don't see more people with Shikigami. Genuinely, we should have seen more people with Shikigami, especially when Shikigami let you be able to jump people without having to call on a homie. And if we know Jujutsu Kaisen, jumping is amazing, right? So anyone being able to make a Shikigami should mean that you realistically should have fucking everybody having some support pet. Everybody deserves to have a support pet.
class summoning ability. Well, today we're gonna find out by reviewing the story mode character Fushiguro Megumi. In this video, I'll be analyzing Fushiguro Megumi, who rolled a legendary title and possesses the 10 Shadows technique, the coveted treasure of the legendary title and in-game clan Zenin. I'll be giving it a rating out of 10 by how much I would recommend it to new sorcerer players in the Jujutsu Kaisen servers. The category, as per usual, will fall into these 5 sections of the video: rarity, abilities, stats, ultimates, skill ceilings, and matchups. Depending on how you build your character, however, there are also other unlockable classes that will be factored in. One of those classes very obviously applies to Megumi, so stay tuned to find out what that is. And once again, this is inspired by Tiersu, and also I promise that the glitches in this video will be turned down. Just not right now.
Fuck the rest of them people. Have your glitches how you want them, man.
Alright, the first thing we need to do is get a better idea of how the 10 Shadows technique actually operates in the Jujutsu Kaisen story mode. Fushiguro Megumi starts off his playthrough by taking advantage of a bug that defined a large portion of his role in the story. Megumi with the last name Fushiguro obviously was not able to roll one of the 3 legendary titles to join a clan, but there's a catch to that. While he may not have inherited the title, what really matters to the game's code is actually the player's genetics. So while a player may possess an unassuming title, if they're related to any major sorcerer clan members, then there's a high likelihood that you inherit the title in the game's backend. Megumi, with his father having left the Zenin clan to take on his wife's last name, even though he didn't have the title, was still able to roll the 10 Shadows technique. Now, Megumi had one main issue. That issue being that the players meant to be his parents died, with his mother dying for unknown reasons and his father having been clipped live on stream by a hollow purple. Luckily for Megumi,
having fucking gay. And a fucking streamer just going. Oh shit. Yeah, no, that man's fucked. He's fucked horribly. He was fucked badly. Very, very badly.
That very same player was the current highest score player, Satoru Gojo. Instead of letting the Zenin clan purchase Megumi through an in-game trade his father set up, Gojo opted to make use of the adoption system. This would actually mean that Megumi had both access to the Zenin clan technique while technically being a part of the Gojo clan. That, however, is just a neat lore fact and doesn't necessarily mean anything. Megumi would grow up as a sorcerer at a young age with the highest score player as both his benefactor and mentor. Over the course of the main story, Megumi would friend many other Jujutsu high sorcerer players while expanding his arsenal of Shikigami. Now, I'll say this again like I said it in the last video, but there is a lot more coming in the Season 3 update, so for the sake of everyone who hasn't seen the leaked gameplay, I will refrain from spoilers in the analysis. With that said, let's get into the rarity.
Alright, we can work with this.
Assigning the 10 Shadows technique a rarity is going to be a little difficult. As you know, common rarity is what you can likely get by joining the server, while mythical rarities either have impossible odds or the power is a finite resource. In this specific instance, I feel more comfortable giving this class a legendary rarity. Don't get me wrong, I understand that the 10 Shadows is a one-of-one technique as far as we know, but I want you...
If you could tame Maharaga, it's mythical, but otherwise, you can make it something different. Now, when it comes to the skill ceilings, we have so much potential. I'm so fucking mad that the Shikigami almost all come from Megumi because we don't get to see enough of them. I'm so damn pissed off by that. But
you also keep in mind that it's in the same boat as the heavenly restriction of physical prowess. It's extremely rare, sure, but in my eyes, to be mythical, there has to be more to it than just using the rolling system. Take, for example, the highest scoring player Satoru Gojo. The Limitless in of itself is just a legendary technique in terms of rarity, but to truly unlock it, you have to spawn in with the extremely rare 6-size physical trait to make use of it. The combination of overwhelming ability and the impossible odds it would take to unlock this specific build is what makes the ability mythic. With all of that said, I would personally give the 10 Shadows a legendary, but for those who say mythic, I can at least understand the viewpoint. Alright, let's move on to the stats.
No, I agree with that. Now, having the 10 Shadows and having a heavenly restriction for cursed energy could make you genuinely demonic with the 10 Shadows. Because I can't imagine what the fuck you get up to when you were allowed to amp Maharaga by throwing more cursed energy in him. Because we have found through Kiara that they do share cursed energy, and they can share it through it, and whoever's outputting the most, right? So like it's between the two of them. So yeah. This also now makes me realize, since they share cursed energy, doesn't that mean that like the cursed energy traits, if any, would apply? So a Ten Shadows user with, oh my god, if fucking not Hikari. Well, Hikari would also work. Hikari has sharp cursed energy, right? But I'm thinking Kashimo. Imagine if you just it's charged all of the Ten Shadows with electricity through Kashima's cursed energy, just having that trait. Or Sukuna's fucking combustion. Holy shit. Alright, yeah, no, fuck.
Now, as you can see, these stats are far from impressive. As someone
Mm-hmm.
who often opts to play with summons in most games that offer it, these stats aren't detrimental, but certainly are disappointing at the very least. Megami doesn't need crazy stats to make full use of his summoner class, which is definitely a strength, but the fact that he lacks it is a hindrance for sure. The best stat he has here is actually utility and battle IQ, which will become obvious soon. I will cut him some slack though, because typically the weakest part of the summoner class is the summoner themselves. To get the full picture, we need to
Yeah.
move on to the abilities. Obviously, as a sorcerer, Megami makes use of physical attacks reinforced with his cursed energy.
He's
Due to
actually
his
pretty
affiliation with
decent with a
Jujutsu High in
weapon.
the Zenin clan, he is
Which
also known for carrying
I'm
cursed tools
so
on his
fucking
person,
sad.
although not to the extent where it's worth covering as a part of the summoner kit. Although he is relatively weak, I will give him props since, as someone with his build, the most effective option is going to be to keep yourself out of combat, but instead he often opts to be the main fighter. Now, I will also say that I don't endorse this strategy. I'm just saying that it takes some balls to risk ending your playthrough early because you feel like doling out some knuckle sandwiches.
I think it also just matters because of the fact that we've seen through Christian, like we've seen through both Sukuna and everyone else saying multiple times throughout this goddamn story. You use Shikigami, you're probably gonna be weak in close one on one. So like, what's up? So him learning to throw them hands makes the most sense because that's literally the weakness. Everyone expects to just blitz past the Shikigami and stab the main dude because that's the whole purpose, right?
Next, the 10 Shadows technique is the main ability Megami utilizes in combat, so let me explain how it works. You roll the technique before you start the game, and when you reach age 5 or 6, the technique will manifest. You are entitled to 2 wolves as starter Shikigami for your ability, but after that, it's your responsibility as the user of the technique to tame all 9 other Shikigami before you use them. To this end, the player may initiate an event known as the Subjugation Ritual. The ritual can be performed as many times as it takes to tame the Shikigami without limit, but if you include another player in the process, then you will not be granted the event rewards. Once tamed, a Shikigami can be summoned and recalled as many times with its requisite cursed energy as needed. But if that Shikigami were to be eliminated, the game would not allow it to be resummoned. That said, let's move on to the passive abilities.
Yes.
The first passive ability worth discussing is the Prodigy passive ability, which is actually a pretty common ability among sorcerers who choose to advance through the game by joining Jujutsu High. As a sorcerer, what can often be more important in one's playthrough aside from raw Jujutsu ability is game knowledge. Knowing how domains, barriers, residuals, or various techniques function is essential to survival in Jujutsu Kaisen servers. If a sorcerer can accurately identify a special grade curse and accurately predict whether or not it's capable of advanced techniques, it might mean the difference of life and death. The passive ability Prodigy comes from a combination of one's innate talent in Jujutsu as well as their education on the matter. Megami being the pupil of the Six Eyes Limitless wielder, possessing a legendary curse technique as well as attending Jujutsu High at a young age all give him a proficient understanding of Jujutsu law. The Well's Unknown Abyss is a passive ability that gives the player the ability to combine Shikigami to create new summons with a combination of each Shikigami's features.
The one thing that makes me so pissed the fuck off is that we don't see Megami use this more often. Because it would genuinely be the smartest decision I've ever heard of.
Even though a Shikigami can no longer be summoned once destroyed completely, the Well's Unknown Abyss, along with being able to mix alive Shikigami, can draw upon the traits of dead ones as well. It's a tricky ability, but it does have its uses. An example would be Divine Dogs combining to create Totality, which, when combined, is capable of doing significant damage even to special grade cursed spirits.
I disagree on the nature of how you just explained that, because totality is when the nature of the ones that are already dead gets added on to the ones that come after. Because that's the reason why when Divine Dog White dies, the black one gets stronger. But, I mean, I don't hate your description there.
Shadow Stalker is actually a hidden ability of the 10 Shadows technique. An important thing to address about the 10 Shadows is that it's actually a multifaceted ability. The
Mm-hmm.
10 Shadows technique is centered around its ability to summon Shikigami, but it doesn't do so through converting cursed energy into Shikigami. It instead manipulates shadows with cursed energy, which is then used as a catalyst to spawn Shikigami.
Yes.
Why is this an important distinction? Well, because if you focus too much on the Shikigami aspect of the technique, you'll miss arguably one of the most useful abilities,
Your shadow manipulation.
If a player with the 10 Shadows technique chooses to not add skills into the Shikigami subclass, but the larger skill of Shadow Manipulation, they can unlock Shadow Stalker, which allows them some more versatile abilities.
Which also now makes me wonder, hey, everybody, imagine if Megumi just wore a fursuit or anything that would basically give a whole bunch of area and mass in between him and the outer layer, right? And then made those shadows intangible. Yeah, you understand exactly what I'm saying. If you stabbed into the fursuit, you would be stabbing the shadows on the inside, and it wouldn't actually be hurting Megumi. I'm genuinely so pissed off that no one ever thinks about that. I know, right? Crazy.
Firstly, Shadow Stalker allows for alternative storage options. If you yourself are capable of carrying the weight of a given item, you can opt to place it into your shadow inventory instead of carrying it on your person. Keep in mind, however, that you still retain the extra weight. Secondly, Shadow Manipulation allows the player to move through the shadows, giving them both a speed upgrade and a maxed out stealth stat while submerged. The drawback to this movement ability being that there's no oxygen in the shadow world, so there's actually a time limit to this ability if you want to be completely submerged. As a bonus perk of Shadow Manipulation, you are also capable of setting traps for your opponent by sinking them into the shadows, causing them to lose their footing. The last thing Shadow Stalker does for the player is act as the first of 3 prerequisite skills to an ultimate ability. Speaking of ultimates, let's dive into that.
Chimera
To unlock the
Shadow
10 Shadows
Garden.
ultimate ability, Chimera Shadow Garden, you must unlock and master 3 separate skills: Advanced Barrier Techniques, the 10 Shadows,
Okay.
and Shadow Stalker. In the story mode of Jujutsu Kaisen, Megumi never actually unlocked domain expansion in the truest sense of the word. Instead, he was only ever capable of conjuring an incomplete domain. What he's able to do is convert a massive amount of cursed energy not just into shadow, but the shadow catalyst used to make Shikigami, thus bypassing the need to infuse the barrier with the technique. Instead, opting to put
But huh? That doesn't explain what he's doing here. The reason why it's an incomplete barrier is because he's not encapsulating or finishing it off with a barrier. It literally is a domain expansion. It's just not. But what the fuck? Hold on. Let me go back before I start spouting things.
domain. What he's able to do is convert a massive amount of cursed energy not just into shadow, but the shadow catalyst used to make Shikigami, thus
Okay, I can agree with that. I can understand here, but like this definitely does have his technique infused. It's just not without a barrier.
bypassing the need to infuse the barrier with the technique. Instead, opting to
There is no barrier. This isn't without a barrier. The thing that Megami struggles with is making barriers. Also, we're forgetting the fact that like Chimera Shadow Garden, much like most other domains, um, they're hella individualized. I'm personally in the belief that in at least definitely in appearance, though maybe not in actual function, domains would change if someone had the same technique, in my opinion. Hello, local, welcome. We're going over a video and incorporating and talking about how Megami works, and there's things where I'm having my own opinions.
put it directly into the domain. This, however, is ill-advised to any player serious about developing their 10 shadow abilities, since it
Mm-hmm.
foregoes the right to the sure hit effect of the domain, as well
Yeah, because domain encapsulation and it doesn't have a barrier trap. Yep.
as the barrier that keeps them trapped inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about how the meta counters domain expansion, then it's obvious why this is such a bad idea. Not only are you giving up the ability that makes a domain expansion worth it in the first place, but you also risk your opponent leaving the domain, which will put you in a bad spot when you have to continue the fight with a technique on cooldown as well as little curse.
True, but you also have to remember that like this is harder to defend against because it doesn't have the things that just go, I get to just fuck off with a sure hit. Like you can use, say, for example, simple domain if I'm correct, and just try to parry through what he's doing. Actually, simple domain would basically be the equivalent of what this tier is for me in terms of domain expansion. Careful, Dell. This is the internet. My own opinions. Bro, I'm a VTuber. He has also a caricature character that he uses for his own self-expression. If it comes down to it, we can box in the power of making manga. You want to go one for one, man? Ban for ban? Come at me, Yamikaze official.
Burst energy. That's what we like to
Oh,
call
this
an
is
easy
fucking
kill.
stupid.
To properly perform the domain expansion, you have to infuse the shadow into your innate domain instead of your technique, and infuse the Shikigami
What? Infuse the shadow into your innate domain and not your. Hold on, let me make sure I got that wording right.
cooldown as well as little cursed energy. That's what we like to call an easy kill. To properly perform the domain expansion, you have to infuse the shadow into your innate domain instead of your technique, and infuse the
Your innate domain is your soul. It's the thing that you. Well, okay, I wouldn't describe it as a soul, but think of it more like your inner mind, right? A domain expansion is taking a barrier, putting that innate domain on that barrier. That's why it looks like that. And then infusing the technique into that barrier for it, right? Because, for example, Yuta's domain expansion looks the same no matter which technique, like, will look the same no matter which technique he decides to put in the sure hit, right? Like, that's kind of the reason why Yuta's domain has swords all over the place. It's kind of because it's like, hey, if I have one, it's gonna just do whatever. It doesn't matter which technique you do for the looks. I'm being pedantic. Let me just play.
Shikigami catalyst into an advanced domain barrier. The reason why domains are set up
Also, what do you mean by Shikigami Catalyst? Cause like, are we talking about just the idea of shadows overall? Because what?
like this is to 1. Get a terrain buff from your innate domain, 2.
Mm-hmm.
To ensure that your domain doesn't eat away at your technique and cursed energy more than necessary, and 3. It allows to properly engage in a domain clash if need be. Your mastery of these 3 separate skills as well as the cursed energy you're able to provide are what defines how
Eh. Personally, I also have my own hypothetical theory on what an open domain actually is. It's just domain amplification when you apply your curse technique to it, because you're literally expanding your domain of your own self around you, and you don't have to close it with a barrier because you're just expanding your own innate domain while also applying your technique. That's my personal opinion on what a domain, what an open domain is, and I could be completely wrong.
refined your domain is. This, however, all requires an insane amount of skill points into the 10 Shadows technique, Shadow Stalker, and domain
By the way, if anyone wants to do something horrible and ruin your life, take a drink every time I say the word domain.
barrier technique, so it's not unreasonable to try to make use of an incomplete domain like Megami does. Although there is no sure hit effect like a traditional domain, the 10 Shadows ability is actually much more useful in the domain than outside of it, as you can effectively spawn an infinite amount of Shikigami in any manner without risking them dying. You do also get a terrain boost by nature of the domain being made out of shadow, and you're even able to make clones of your character. Even in an incomplete state, Chimera Shadow Garden is still useful enough to exercise special.
Oh yeah, we never really do talk about the fact that Megami, you can make shadow clones. Megami, you can make shadow clones. Jesus Christ! Sorry, I think that almost all the things that he's able to accomplish within this innate domain are things that he can accomplish outside of it. For example, the reason why Sukuna was able to make partial summonings of the Shikigami so that they did get removed is in the same line of why didn't he decide to make clones of himself? Easy. Gojo would have most definitely been able to look at the clones and tell that wasn't actually Sukuna, but I fucking swear to you that you can make shadow clones with just 10 shadows.
Special grade cursed spirits given the right circumstances. Alright, now that we've covered domain expansion, let's move on to the more obvious and more lethal ultimate ability of the 10 Shadows. Actually, before we continue the video, I want to take a moment to thank.
So I know you are not bringing up things that come after, but like, are we gonna bring up Modula a little bit for this? Hold on, let me check and see what the hell just added in the DMs. Oh, they can't be that worried already. I'm just gonna murder a couple characters. Oh shoot, let's see. Good to see you here. Ah, Sneaky, welcome in. Welcome. Also, Jacob. Wait, Jacob? Did Jacob come in? I don't think I saw Jacob. Let me take a look here. Yeah, no, I don't see Jacob. Oh, well.
Thanks
Oh
to the
shit, Jacob.
sponsor.
Ah!
Yeah, it's still me. In case you clicked on this video assuming that I'm a big shot YouTuber, I'm unfortunately not, and I'm on my journey to getting 10k subs and going full time here on YouTube. Engaging with this video in literally any way, a like,
You got my comment. By me deciding to make a video out of this, we're gonna throw it back at you. We're gonna like this. Everybody, go check this man out as I tear holes through the entirety of his things. You did a redeem? Wait, hold on. What the fuck did you redeem? Oh, you redeemed Dell's tribute. Alright, gotcha. You know what? Any of you motherfuckers who also like JJK want to hop in the stream, call with me. Help me tear this man limb from limb. For the sake of the laws, don't actually take this seriously, please.
comment, sub, one of them, all of them, it really goes a long way to helping me achieve my dreams.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
also
mhm.
being able to keep making these videos for you guys, so it's a win-win. As always, a huge thank you to you guys and the channel members that make this all so fun, and let's get back to the video.
Oh my god, there's a bunch of dicks! They're appearing! They're striking back! Everyone, hand me your power! I must summon the mighty dildo to defend and parry! Ah, my anti-dick technique. I haven't used this since my own era. Oh, what the fuck? Hold up. What do you think he's doing in there, speaking to blank in there? You know, you shouldn't. You know, why would? Oh, okay. Also, look who puts a sock and bopper square up. Earth sorcery is quite advanced. The anti-dick technique. Yeah. Yes.
やつかの剣異界新章
Let me have at you, Ma.
The Divine Divergent Scylla General Maharaga, dubbed Makura in the game's source code, is without a doubt the most overpowered summon in the game and is the reason why the 10
Oh shit, you actually remember that he's actually called Makura. Neat. Fuck yeah. You know ball.
Shadows ability is coveted
Get
by the
exploded,
Zen
get
clan.
exploded, get exploded.
The summon Maharaga
Hey, what's up,
itself is
Monsieur?
nothing
How you
special in the
doing?
eyes of the 10 shadows.
Hello.
Hello, brother.
How you doing? Hold up, let me do something real quickly so that your avatar pops up so people can have an idea of when you're speaking versus when I'm speaking. Hello. Can I still be heard from you? I can still be heard from you.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna stream these to you so that you are able to also keep in time with me if you want to. It's Jujutsu Kaisen, and we're talking about Megami and how he can do a lot of things. I'm just saying this now. Megami should have been able to, and I quote, make goddamn shadow clones the entire time. We literally see him make a shadow clone in his incomplete domain. If he really wanted to specialize in that, I imagine that he could have done it. I'm just saying. He could have. Shit.
It's called the 10 Shadows technique. Let Megami do more shadow control, goddammit.
Yes. Also, you know what also would have been another thing that I said during this? If Megami put on a fursuit, do you realize what happened? There's so much area inside that's dark. He could basically have his own fucking infinity. If you stab into it, you're stabbing in the shadows instead of poking his organs. He could just put on
Yeah.
anything that would happen to cover a lot of body area and leave space in between. And if he was aware of it coming forward, I mean, obviously he could get stabbed in the spot. He isn't making a shadow yet. But, like, he could basically make intangibility frame. I hate so many things when he just doesn't use. He making me focus too hard on the goddamn Shikigami instead of thinking about the shadows. This is how I would have used the technique differently. This is why I would have been golden. Because I would only be summoning Divine Dog out of my goddamn shirt sleeve. You gonna think, oh, he can't punch me from there. I'm outside of his reach. You gonna see Divine Dog's goddamn head pop out and bite your ass. I'm just saying, I would have been on some different timing. Shit. I ain't saying I'm like that. Like, I'm really just immediately better, but I am.
No, you would be immediately better because you are a creative ass motherfucker when it comes to abilities.
To be
Listen, from what we know of top tier sorcerers, Dell would be one. I'm not saying Dell's crazy. No,
No, that was fucking crazy.
yeah.
hold on. I think we should say something for the people at home who are watching this. I am the person who last session for our D&D campaign have a 9-year-old undead man who does bloodbending, and he just realized, wait a second, if I take my bloodbending, combine that with my ability to heal people, and I just stab you, put blood in you from me, and I just start healing that blood, can't I just fill you up with literally the blood of a dead man that isn't matching your blood type? Till you just start having your body viscerally react to having the wrong blood?
Mm.
So yes, would I be a good sorcerer?
Do you know what his blood type is?
Homie, his blood is black.
Yeah, maybe, but
That ichor don't work with nothing.
that was worth a shot.
What's your blood type?
Oh,
Necrotic. That is what the fuck it is.
yeah, I'm about to say, fucking necrotic is the blood type. Dale, question,
Mhm.
and just real quick. So I recently found out there's a thing called chaos gotcha. Have you heard of that?
What the fuck is your gambling addiction doing to you now?
It's not. Well, technically, yes. Yes, it is my gambling addiction that led me to it. But it is a community-driven thing where they essentially just make a gotcha and have filled it with a bunch of random powers, items, so and so on from different media.
I will entangle myself in that in a moment. Let us try to finish this vid as I tear into it a little bit
Yeah.
more. Also, hold up. No blood transfusion or giving blood for Blake. I mean, Moonsure, he can give blood. You just need to do some sort of transmogrification to get it to be something else by the other side. He needs Fumali if he wants to give blood. He's like, hey, yo, can I switch this shit to one to the other?
Oh, that's very funny.
Oh, actually,
Shadow's
yeah.
technique simply being the
totally
last
do
of the
it.
10 shadows to be summoned.
Switch
But in the
blood
world
type.
of Jujutsu, it is the most overpowered ability in the game, even rivaling the Limitless in its raw strength. To this day, the Jujutsu Kaisen dev, despite a large outcry from the community, has refused to nerf Maharaga in any
I
sense
love
of the
how we're
word.
watching something
The
about
only summon that was
Maharaga,
capable of competing against
and
Maharaga, the
as
Queen
I'm scrolling through
Hey, I'm just saying.
druids,
Are you caught up with Modulo yet, or no? Also, Del? What is
uh,
the motion?
uh, are you able to mute me for stream?
Hold up.
That way I don't drop a spoiler for those in stream.
Homie, I've already been talking about Modulo spoilers throughout this video.
Uh,
I don't give a
I,
fuck.
I know that fucking Yuji has officially negative diffed Mahito.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Fuck yeah.
So you caught up.
Queen of Curses summon was actually hit with a massive nerf
The
before the
amount
main
of
story of
joy I
Jujutsu
got
Kaisen
from
even
watching
began.
Mahito get
To this day,
negative
there's even a
diffed.
small part of the community that resents the fact that Gege chose to nerf the obviously less broken summon. But I guess that's besides the point. I'll say this again, in the eyes of the 10 Shadows technique, Maharaga is not an ultimate ability and is able to be summoned for subjugation like any other Shikigami, but unlike the others, Maharaga was never in the history of the game tamed by a 10 Shadows user. Since the summon was untamable, an exploit was discovered where the players would summon the mob and abuse the mechanic that allows them to drag others into the ritual with them. Maharaga, being closest to the player, would automatically target them and likely end their life. The ritual, however, does not end until every player in the event either dies or defeats the summon. The 10 Shadows user will remain in a state of suspended death until everyone is dead, at which point the death will be solidified. Now that I've explained
Fuck you, Haruta. Anyways.
how
Fuck
the
her.
ultimate works, allow me to
Oh, I
explain
just
why this
realized we're
ability is so
watching a Tears
terrifying.
You parody.
Every summonable
Yes.
Shikigami has one ability unique to them. The Divine Dogs have tracking abilities, Nue applies the Electrified debuff, and Maharaga has the ability Adaptation.
Also,
This ability
Yes.
I'm putting my reaction to Yuji pulling that shit on Mahito inside chat.
I
That was me when I saw it.
I just want to say right now, as much as I like the idea that Maharaga does have adaptation, the way that the wheel seems to matter almost more than Maharaga, and it also seems to have an infinite durability compared to Maharaga, it makes me wonder: is the wheel much like the sword of extermination that he has, actually, a cursed tool? I genuinely believe that the wheel is a cursed tool that allows him to end up doing the adaptation. Maybe I'm wrong,
I mean,
but it makes
I
sense.
mean, it makes sense because in the fight against Sukuna, we see Maharaga get turned into fucking paste,
Yeah,
and then just come back.
yeah, like we never see the wheel get hurt, which is what makes me wonder. Like the wheel seems to be the actual real way to kill Maharaga. I'm gonna be straight up with you.
There's also the fact that after fucking and Meguna happened, we see a Meguna with the wheel above himself and not Maharaga.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it,
So
I don't even think the wheel gets scratched while in Sukuna's domain expansion. Hold the
Also during
fuck
the
up.
Dabura fight.
Yeah, it leaves him with like just one little chunk of Maharaga existing. But no, but seriously, we don't see that wheel get damaged during Sukuna's domain expansion. It hits everything, including objects, and it's never scratched. And this is what cleaves, the thing that hits with.
target the environment.
No. It fucking has durability negation. It matches your durability. So what the fuck is the wheel's durability?
The wheel has adapted itself to not have durability anymore.
What the fuck is the wheel?
The wheel is a MacGuffin.
I'm probably gonna be done in work at 4:30. I should be ready for. Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Beta. Well, okay, let's continue. I just had a real tangent there. I was like, hold up, the Korra's wheel is actually insane. Yo, I'm just imagining if Maharaga grabs the wheel and like spins it like a shield against Dabura's fucking ult. It'd be fucking hilarious. Like he's Captain America. I refuse to go down. Anyways, let's go.
Provides the mob with a special grade cursed tool known as the Dharma.
Oh shit! You didn't realize. Okay. I didn't realize you understood ball like that.
A wheel. Anytime the creature faces an ability or situation it cannot overcome, it will be presented with the option to adapt. When the option is selected, the wheel will spin and the creature will gain either a resistance or a new ability that will help it overcome the obstacle. The way
I wouldn't limit it to resistance or new ability due to the fact that this thing also just adapts to speed in other ways. I'm genuinely thinking that the wheel just helps maintain the other forms and facets of life. And due to us seeing Makora's wheel during last chapter spin like all hell, Maharaga, please up your own domain. Please.
Yeah, Maharaga, we both know your ass can adapt to domain expansion. Just do it already.
We're joining until 5
Do the
because you need to make food.
Shikigami. I don't
All
believe
right,
that
got you.
Dabura, or
the
sorry,
game's
I
code
don't believe
processes
that
this is as
Maharaga would be able to do that.
Why?
It's a Shikigami. I don't think it has an innate technique. It doesn't have a cursed or sorry, it doesn't have it doesn't have a cursed technique. It doesn't have an innate domain.
Homie, with just simple fucking curse energy, Kusakabe can make his own pseudo domain. At the very least, we getting that. And if not that, we have Mr. I adapt to any and all phenomena. If any Shikigami is allowed to make their own domain expansion, it's Ma fucking Raga.
He fucking and the wheel made he gave Maharaga an adaptation to Sukuna that is literally just, hey, dumbass, you can lie about your attacks.
It lets him learn too. It gives him information. It gives him techniques. It gives him stats. It gives him whatever, any and all phenomena.
follows. When Maharaga is hit by an attack, the game will generate both a number and time duration based on how complex the ability is. The game will then divide that time limit across the X amount of spins it decided to give us.
I don't think it has to be just the attack. I'll be straight up with you, because it was attacking the infinity and was finding ways to get through it. Genuinely, if Maharaga can perceive it, and it is a phenomenon he can perceive, he will start adapting. Now, we don't know if he can adapt to multiple things at the same time, however.
How long it will take for Maharaga to fully adapt to the phenomenon. During the fight between the player and mob, however, if the opponent were to attack Maharaga with the same attack, this will subtract against both the time limit and number of spins, causing Maharaga to...
I won't say that it is a matter of subtracting just because of attacks, but that it is a necessary reaction to seeing more instances of that thing. For example, I can imagine in a fight where Maharaga was being taxed to block something. Yeah, it could definitely get a hit more times, but missing the block like parry. Basically, what I'm saying is, imagine if you told Maharaga, and this is under the assumption that you somehow managed to tame this bastard, right? He's some reason trying to stop you from hitting another guy. I think that he will adapt to however you're hitting him and get past that. For example, let's say that you had a shadow on the underside of a table, right? And you were swinging from the table to then hit on the other side of the table, punch someone in the nuts. I'm imagining Maharaga would adapt by being able to also enter that same shadow. Actually, no, he can already enter shadows because let's be honest here, this motherfucker does that shit with Sukuna. But you know what I mean. Let's
to
continue.
adapt faster.
Yeah.
This process will become faster and faster the more times this move is used against Maharaga until adaptation is complete. The only way to defeat Maharaga is to use an ability that is capable of completely draining his health in one shot, thereby not giving him an opportunity to adapt. While this ultimate ability is impractical, it shouldn't be overlooked since whoever has the ability effectively has one free pass to eliminate a player on the server. Alright, with that covered, let's now move on to the special category that Megami has access to.
Also, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
I like of how many the like it's very obvious that the three big clans of the Jujutsu world, their curse techniques aren't have inherent flaws, as that are only overcome by people who are 1 in a million. Gojo Ho with the 6 eyes, which is why he's so good with Infinity, since
Mm-hmm.
the 6 eyes gives him such fine control. Choso with blood manipulation because he's a curse from death painting, so he doesn't need to worry about blood loss.
Yep.
But so far we haven't seen anything like that for her fucking and the Zenin. I like to
So
imagine the
yeah, no,
thing
you're
for
forgetting the heavenly restriction for Toji and them exists. I'm just
yeah
thinking, yeah, that's it. That's literally it.
yeah you like to like they're always he's feels like there should always be a person like Toji or Maki around to help the 10 Shadows user tame the Shikigami, since the ritual will, will only is, I guess, not counted as successfully taming if there's another or person with cursed energy in the ritual. But Toji and Maki have no cursed energy, so just hand them, just have some cursed tools lying around, and have them go ham alongside the 10 Shadows user.
I agree with this and concur.
Poggers.
Give me just a second. All right, there you go. Now I'm back to looking at this, and we're gonna play.
The only way to truly judge how strong a summoner build is to, well, judge the summons. I'll take you through each and every mob Megami is able to spawn with the 10 Shadows technique, but be warned that if you care about not seeing the leaks for the upcoming story mode updates, then I would recommend skipping this section since there will definitely be spoilers. I will also not count anything that Megami creates with the Unknown Abyss. That said, Demon Dogs, a set of 2 wolves that can do about 30 damage per bite and possess tracking abilities. Nue, a bird-like creature that possesses armor-piercing lightning attacks that can do up to 100 damage.
I don't get how you're getting exact numbers, but I fuck with your description so far. I'm gonna disagree with your numbers. All right, gotta go. See y'all in the session. I see you, Moonsher.
Gamma, one frog or multiple frogs that are able to lock down opponents or provide quick and easy movement options. Orochi, a massive serpentine creature.
Didn't he? Why'd you use the clip of the Well of the Unknown Abyss frogs when you? Why did you use that clip, man? You just said that you weren't using the Well of the Unknown Abyss, and then you show it.
Serpentine creature that can
Where
freely
they have
move
the
from the user.
wings.
Yeah. Look,
I
shadow
think that's
lockdown
because
enemies and
I
do
think that's because
approximately 80 damage
that's
per.
one of the most noble examples of
fair,
the frogs locking down someone.
fair.
The one
Max
eating
Elephant.
Nobra.
An elephant, while requiring a bit more cursed energy than the others,
That's
makes up for it
more
in its sheer size
saving
as
someone
well as its
than
ability.
locking them down.
Locking them down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Either
Okay.
way, it's a one-way trip to Vor.
Yeah, fair.
Why'd I even mention it? No.
What you act like I'm saying this to refer to you. The Vor thing's
No.
my thing. That's like part of my brand and my shtick. Anyways.
ability to utilize a large amount of water from its trunk.
Mhm,
Rabbit
mhm.
Escape, a flurry of rabbits that cost little cursed energy to summon and have low melee stats, but allow the user a smokescreen of rabbits to either distract the opponent.
This point, motherfucker, is
How-
disrespectful. How dare you say low melee stat to Rabbit Escape? Bro, you out here you disrespectful motherfucker. You goddamn it.
Uh,
You gotta respect Rabbit
also,
237. God damn it, that man was serving in the war. He was serving
One-
against
yeah,
soldiers.
one-
I headcanon that the rabbit that boxed up Toji, he was the same one that was seen being held by Yuji.
One my
Or
sons
defend
are
the
one
user.
is
Round Deer,
Yamikaze0.
a Shikigami coming from the leaks as of this video. Round Deer uses positive cursed energy to either heal the user or dispel
he in
cursed
heaven
energy.
with
Piercing Ox,
Gojo Geto,
another leaked
and when I
Shikigami.
play,
Piercing
he
Ox
playing
is a
fucking
strong
Uno.
Shikigami that is capable of moving in a straight line, but the longer it moves in that line, the stronger it gets. Tiger Funeral. Tiger Funeral is a Maharaga. Maharaga
Yeah, we
is a
don't
humanoid
see
monster
Tiger
that
Funeral. We don't get to see Tiger Funeral. It's very upsetting.
Tiger Funeral.
Honestly, I hope, for the love of everything, that we get some anime only shit of Tiger Funeral. Please. I won't do shit actually. But like I wanna see
From
Tiger Funeral, please. Give us an anime only filler fight with Reggie, like in the Reggie Star fight. I don't give a damn what it is. Give us something. Let us be like,
let us eat.
no. What if we don't even get a moment where he uses it and he just goes, I could use Tiger Your Funeral. It does have the fire abilities, but I'm not trying to burn him. Like, just give us some random bit of lore so we can eat and know what we're supposed to be getting. You ain't even gotta actually animate the hoe. Let the voice actor spitball bullshit. I don't even give a damn.
Actually, part of my brain hears Tiger Funeral and goes Tiger that controls wind and makes fucking wind blades. I don't know why.
I don't
Well,
get how you
Tiger
get
Funeral's a part
weird.
of the Ahito, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Agito? Yeah. Was it well, let's see. Agito has like cursed reverse curse technique.
That's deer.
that's from
That's
from
from the
Deer.
deer. What else does Agito have? I haven't
Nue. I think there's one thing we haven't actually talked about. No part of Agito should be humanoid shaped. So Tiger Funeral to me seems like that's where it came from. In which case, you tell me we missing out on a Tiger Bad Bitch? We missed out on Tiger Bad Bitch summon?
Yeah, no. Why does Agito have vague tit shape?
Mm-hmm. And they're upright. And none of the other parts do that. So Akito had to have been on some furry shit. They had to. It's okay. Like shit, a man-eating tiger who's really a man-eater. I mean, like it writes itself. Also, just to say this right now, we know Maki has her stripes, right?
Yeah.
There's something funny to me about Tiger Funeral and Maki looking at each other and going, like one of those dumbass like comedic moments we used to have in season 1 with Nobara and Yuji.
I'm very happy we got a convenient moment like that with fucking Yuji and Yuta. Like those motherfuckers are the same brain cell in two different bodies.
Fair.
possesses the Dharma Chakra wheel that allows it to adapt, as well
Looked
as
at
the
the
Sword of
scene of them both
Extermination that
holding
allows
their
the monster to
chins.
one-tap cursed spirits with positive energy.
Potentially one tap. It does a lot of damage. I won't say it's perfect one tap every time.
I should also note that it's possible for a 10 Shadows user to summon certain parts of Shikigami independently of the Shikigami themselves. So for example, if you want to fly but don't want to summon Nue, given you are skilled enough, you can hypothetically conjure only Nue's wings. That about ends it for the summon section though. One of the best aspects of the 10 Shadows technique is actually its extremely low skill ceiling. Even if you're unlucky and don't spawn in with the best reserves of cursed energy, the 10 Shadows curse technique is
What? Low skill ceiling? You mean skill floor? Because like the skill floor can be low. I can agree with that.
I can agree that it's low, especially because you are given demon dogs out the gate.
Yeah, like you don't need a lot to be able to use it from the get go. The ceiling, however, bitch, you could get crazy. You know how many just like the power to mix them and blend The power to be able to just know that when they die, the totality will end up fading into another one, which means that you're just getting stronger shit by the end. Nah, I disagree. The ceiling's astronomical.
Seems astronomical. Also, you don't really want like totality is like a more of a consolation thing than it is a something you should rely on, since you are losing out on more summons.
True, but still, even then, it's still
If
more
you have enough
shit.
cursed energy, you can just spam those shits.
Extremely forgiving in the way that you only have to give a fixed amount of cursed energy to use a Shikigami. For those who are really talented, I would imagine that there's a way to tame as many as 8 Shikigami with only partial manifestation. If you happen to spawn in with a lot of cursed energy but little to no skill, the Shikigami will 100% make up for that, given that you personally don't have to be the best sorcerer to get things done. The rarity of this ability will hold it back, I'll tell you that right now, but for a new player that managed to roll this on their first playthrough, it's a
Jujutsu Kaisen. It's Jujutsu Kaisen. The fuck? What do you mean the rarity will hold you back? Bitch, more likely you won't have multiple people with this. And even if you did somehow manage to say I had the 10 shadows, and then I had a kid who also had the 10 shadows, the likelihood that we both are living at the same time is crazy low. Right? It's not that we have only one person, because we know that you can have multiple people with the same curse technique and then be passed on. I just think that it's really fucking low odds. Your likelihood of getting this isn't that crazy, but that's JJK. It's very sparse with the power, it's stingy with it.
Yeah.
effectively like sorcery but with a built-in progression system. The skill ceiling of this ability has to be the lowest in the game while getting the most in return. Without a doubt, it's extremely beginner friendly.
No. The most
Now
beginner
let's talk
friendly
about
thing about
matchups
it
for the
is
10
the fact
Shadows
that you get
technique.
demon
This
dogs
ability
for
is
free.
pretty strong and also very well rounded, which makes it difficult to defeat a 10 Shadows user without blatant and overwhelming strength. However, there is
I just thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to taming Rabbit Escape, did Megumi have to beat one rabbit? Or does he have to subjugate every rabbit?
You know what the Rapid Escape's actual ability is?
Not off the top of my head.
It's one singular rabbit that's able to clone itself. So I'm imagining
Okay,
that as
so
soon as it popped out, he'd stick both dogs on it and spawn kick that bitch. Otherwise, it runs the fuck away and it gets annoying really, really fast.
yeah.
Also, I brought up earlier during this, due to us mentioning with that little scene with Kiara, right? All of the goddamn 10 Shadows summons share cursed energy with the summoner, right? It's all counted as the same cursed energy.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean if you had a cursed energy trait, all of your summons would have it?
Yes.
If you had some lightning and like Kashimo and you had the 10 Shadows, you were a fucking nightmare. With Rabbit Escape? Bitch, please! Thunder Buddies! Thunder Buddies! I'm just imagining how fucking terrifying Thunder Buddies is. It's actually awful.
Thunder.
Yo, if you had Kashimo's goddamn cursed energy with Rabbit Escape, it's evil. It's just evil.
one thing that is a nightmare for 10 Shadows players: speed. In the story mode of Jujutsu Kaisen, we see Megumi get into a battle with the reincarnated King of Curses player and is quite easily overwhelmed. A big drawback of the 10 Shadows technique is that while you can order the Shikigami around, they can't think for themselves. When facing a fast
Poor Snake.
They can't think for themselves. The fuck?
They can definitely think for themselves. I mean, look at Bunny. Look at the bunny who boxed Toji.
Yeah, no. Shit, the buddy was having better battle IQ in them with single moment versus Megami. And I don't think Megami was out there puppeting in shadows for each and every attack. They're autonomous.
opponent, it's still up to you to react in time to keep yourself safe. If you yourself have a lot of cursed energy, this might not be an issue, but recognize that the 10 Shadows technique is at its strongest when a player can fully focus on Shikigami manipulation.
I agree that they are at their strongest when the Shikigami manipulation is a large portion, but I do believe the shadows genuinely is what you need to be able to blend all these things together so that you could have true mastery. The Shikigami
Yeah.
are the most beautiful and bright and shiny part, but if you really think about it, much like all common jujutsu, you can really sum it up by just getting down to the nitty gritty, also I just realized something hilarious. So like domain amplification turns off curse techniques, right?
Yes. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Where do you think I'm going?
Well, I have a general idea where you're going. I don't know the exact where
Where
you're
do you
going,
think
but
I'm
I have
going
a
with
general
this?
idea. Fucking domain amplification Shikigami.
Can you punch through Shikigami with domain amp?
That is a good question, actually.
Because like normally I would say no, because like for example, positive energy doesn't immediately negate them, right? But the reason why I would say 10 shadows Shikigami, they are the curse technique, and it does turn off the curse technique. So can you use the domain amp to punch through Divine Dog's fucking head?
Now, with all of that said, how would I personally rank the 10 Shadows technique based on how much I would recommend it to new players? Similarly to the heavenly restriction of physical prowess, I would rate this at a 7 out of 10. The ability comes with a low skill ceiling, making it usable for just about any player, it gives the user special grade potential, and also comes with technically 2 individual techniques that are both cost efficient and versatile. How on earth is this not a slam dunk 10 out of 10? Well, like I said before, rarity's a bitch. Not only are you rolling for a cursed technique, but you are also rolling for one of 3 legendary titles just so that the legendary technique is unlocked in the first place. Like I said before, if you have that many rolls, I won't stop you, but if you're willing to blow that many rolls to a playthrough, there are still some other options that are equally as powerful that I would personally recommend over it. That all said though, even I can't say that there isn't any temptation in taming Maharaga, however difficult it may be. Having that summon effectively gives you in-game cheats. Some people might call you a no-skill, and those people are correct.
I feel his summations make sense towards Megumi, but overall, I vibe with some of your points. All right. Anyone else have any last words before I give my outro spiel?
I got nothing.
Alright, cool. So, everybody, my name's Dell. I just spent my time deciding to yap about someone else's video with critiques. Please take them as jokes and good critique because I have some points. I hope that you can understand them. Otherwise, yeah, I'll end up adding the people, liking, doing all the stuff in the description. And I just realized I didn't record this. Bitch! Oh well.
No, you didn't.
It's
Oh wait, well we have a VOD.
Yeah, no, we have the VOD. That's why I was gonna say like, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. I'm doing VOD and recording this time. Because I didn't plan like continue streaming into the session, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, that's good. But at the same time, hey everybody, look at the screen. Change the screen. There we go. Look at the screen. Anyways, so you see this? This is our schedule for next week. We're doing a donathon. It's a little event where I decide to happen to do stuff for y'all. Such as every morning we're writing a book. I know, right? It's crazy. At the end of some of these days, we'll be doing either voice acting or manga creation. I know, right? We'll have I Have No Mouth and Must Scream on Saturday at 8:30 of Tuesday. We'll be doing interviews and talking with literally anyone else who wants to meet me up and collab for shit on Friday. Or actually throughout the week, honestly. Just message me through Blue Sky or on Discord if you can. Or in the comment section. And I do need to learn, and you have to be someone who does actual content creation for me to do this. Mainly so I can watch and see what else you've done in the past, so I know that you are a actual adult and or person. I will not be collabing with minors. I don't give a fuck. Thank you. Um, you can throw random reaction things at me during these streams. You know, pop by reactions and campaign prep. If you decide to throw literally whatever the fuck you want in terms of like $5 or more or even less, possibly, I'm just gonna create NPCs that we use to torture my players in campaign. I know, right? And yeah, that's mainly it from there. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely time, and most importantly, don't lose your goddamn mind in these streets. Whoop did it. All right, there you go.